Call the meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, all members are present. Approval of the agenda. Is there any changes? Council?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Heidi, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approval of the minutes, November 7th, 2018 regular meeting and the November 9th, 2018 special meeting. Received them in your packet. Is there any changes, corrections, clarification needed? If not, do I have a motion to accept November 7th and November 9th, 2018 regular and special meeting?
I'll make the motion.
A motion by Diane, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. This now brings us to our public open forum. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council?
Hand in the back, I believe.
Yeah, over there.
Maybe not.
Seeing no one, our public open forum is now closed. We have no public hearings. It then brings us to our reports and presentations. Police Department monthly report. Brian?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Some of the activity report for October 2018, some of the numbers we had 12 alarm calls. We did 60 assists for businesses. We did 26 assists for other agencies. We did 6 bar crowd checks. We had 9 citizen contacts. We had 2 felony warrant arrests. We had 7 gas no pays. We had 21 matter of information, 18 medicals. We found 4 open doors at businesses. We patrolled at the school 30 times. Suspicious activity calls, we had 15 of them. We had 5 unwanted person calls. And we did 11 welfare checks. We gave out 165 verbal warnings. So we had a total of verbal warnings, 165, total calls of 448 for a total of 613 activity for the month. And compare that to September, we were down by 71 on calls. We gave out 109 more warnings. And then if you compare that to 2017, we're very close with 2017. Numbers are very even. That's all I have for October.
Any questions?
Relatively quiet month then.
Well, should die down a little. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Planning Commission report. Sarah?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In your packet, you have a copy of the Planning Commission agenda from the November 13th meeting. We did not have any public hearings, but we did revisit some of the items from our last public hearing that went to the City Council and then came back to the Planning Commission. So there are some changes to that, and that's an action item a little later on the agenda this evening. The building permit totals for October. October usually slows out this, last quarter of the year. And we had 7 permits with $94,000 of value. Last year, we did 9 permits with $84,000 of value in new construction. So it's about, on the right track. And so far this year, as the end of October, We did just over $8 million in new construction in our community.
Okay, questions?
Were there any, the last snow we had, were there any tickets issued for, snow, parking
Sidewalk?
on the street?
I don't know.
Did we call a snow emergency?
I don't think we
No,
did.
we never
No.
We
called
did
it.
not?
No.
Okay. I was just curious.
And that wouldn't be Sarah's
Yeah, I was like-
avenue.
No, that's what I thought I should have asked before, but yeah,
I looked a little confused, huh?
yeah, sorry, Sarah.
It's okay.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Public Works Department, Ben?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. A few things we've been working on. Prior to the ground starting to freeze up, we got all the signs installed on the north end project. Stop signs, street signs, so everything should be up. That was taken down prior to construction beginning. We put the no outlet sign is installed on Morningview Road that was approved at a prior council meeting. The campground, that new asphalt that was put in, we put class 5 and black dirt around the edge of that, so that's completed and ready for use in the spring. We installed handicap and public parking signs across from City Hall and by Schaefer's that you guys had approved prior. There was an Eagle Scout project by Sinclair Lewis Park. He installed 3 benches and concrete around those benches, and he did a good job installing those. That looks nice. That'll be nice to have there. Today we got all the Christmas decorations put up along with the lights and wrapped all the light poles and everything, and that looks nice. And we've been doing just some maintenance and repairs to snow removal equipment to make sure that we're maintain readiness for that.
Okay. Any questions?
8th Street, there's a road work ahead sign. I don't know if that's been removed. I haven't turned that corner, but it's
Okay.
been sitting there for a while. I'm not sure if it's a MnDOT sign or if it's our sign.
I would guess was from MnDOT, but I'll check into it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Ben. Airport Commission. Ricky?
The Airport Commission met on last Wednesday in their regular meeting, and it was Ben's first meeting at the Airport Board. And we did receive a new planner with Bolton Mink, because remember Melissa Underwood had left Bolton Mink this summer, and so now they've assigned us a new planner to work with us, but the engineer is still the same. A couple of things left over on the airport project from the runway reconstruction. The final punch list items were all completed, and we'd been waiting for the lien waivers and the DBE payment affidavit from Kramer Excavating. We received those today. So now at the next council meeting, you'll approve the final payment to Kramer, and we'll be able to submit the final closeout report to the FAA. We have actually about $240,000 coming back from the FAA yet for this project as our reimbursement. And we're hoping to get it in by the end of the year, but I don't know that that'll happen because it takes a turnaround time for them. So that's where on the runway reconstruction. On the airport entrance road, you know that was completed before. They did complete I believe they completed the grading of the shouldering. We looked at it and had some concerns with it, so we're not sure that that's can be considered complete. And then that invoice for that paving will come to you, and then we can close out that. So both of those grants will be closing out in the next couple of months. The third project is the airport the zoning ordinance, and that's the open grant, and we just started working on that. So there's quite a few things that have to happen in order to go through that, because we involve the county, the township, and the city. And so we'll be looking for a volunteer here later on for somebody that wants to serve on that committee. And then we did, you can kind of see in the packet on page 24, kind of how our 20-year CIP capital improvement program yearly balance of our entitlements go. And you can see each year we carry over money if we don't use it, and it builds up. But then on the 5th year, it falls off if we don't loan it out to somebody. And we don't have a big project planned in the next few years, so we may be wanting to loan some of our entitlement out to another city. We'll be talking about that in the coming months with the airport board. And our next big project at the airport is actually doing some work on the turf runway. You know, we have some issues with sight lines and in the safety zone and fields along the side that are off the property, and so we're looking at shifting that runway to the south, because the turf surface all needs to be rejuvenated, so sliding it over would be, that would be the time to do that. So that will probably be the next project for the airport, would be that project. Other than that, I have nothing more from the airport.
Questions, concerns? Would that be someplace where we'd be able to use some of that money rather than give it to somebody?
Well, if we
As,
can, if we can use it for an approved project, then we would, except that we have pretty much completed all of our capital improvement plan projects at the airport. And the next one would be the turf runway, and we may be able to do, if we need some fencing, signage, those types of things, and then if we were to do another hangar. But a hangar is considered an income producing, and you have to have all your other airside needs met before you can do another hangar. And we have a couple vacancies in the hangar right now, and we like to see that pretty full and start a waiting list before we do another hangar. So the money doesn't disappear. We loan it out, and then we get it back when we have a big project. It's just a matter of shuffling the funds.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Vicki. We'll then go on to our action items. 7A, approve ordinance 783, amending city code on recreational vehicles.
If you recall at the last meeting, the city council had this, or 2 meetings ago, I believe it was, the city council had a recommendation from the planning commission regarding some amendments to the outdoor storage of recreational vehicles and additional definitions to be adding wheelhouses to nuisance parking and definitions. The city council at that time had sent it back to the planning commission for further review of the exterior storage of recreational vehicles section 156020. And so I've included that in the packet for your review. The issues that we were talking about has to do with the outside storage in the winter time. If you recall, right now, it was December 1st to March 31st. You can't store them on your property. That has been removed. And then in some of the storage location recommendations the Planning Commission originally had was not parking in the driveway, and now that went back to the Planning Commission, and they have since removed that. So now the exterior storage of recreational vehicles of no more than one, which hasn't changed, would be allowed when in compliance with the code. It says any recreational vehicle shall be parked or stored in a manner to minimize visual impact on adjacent residential uses and public streets. And there's 4 criteria. It should be licensed. It can't block any means of ingress and egress from a building or limit snow removal. It can't be used for living quarters while being stored, and it must be in operable condition. So we took out the hard surface, we took out the parking in the driveway, we took out those types of things. And so it's just very, very simple 4-step issue with your RVs. And the reason they left the operable in there was because in the past years ago, when they put the ordinance in effect, it was like, well, at least the ones that aren't operable will leave and hope never to come back. Well, here you have to be operable to store them on your property. So that's why that one is still in there. And other than that, the other provisions here just add wheelhouses to definitions. So what we're looking for tonight from the Planning Commission is to approve Ordinance 783, amending the code regulating the outside storage and parking of recreational vehicles. And then I actually put the ordinance without all the strike-throughs and underlining for you to review.
Questions, comments? On the actual ordinance that's in here, under unlawful parking and storage, this is what I was pointing out before, when I came in and talked to you before and we couldn't find it. Number 1.
Right, and that was not changed. That wasn't something they really even discussed. That was talking about fish houses and that's not talking about RVs.
Okay,
The RVs is under section 2.
okay, all right. Any other questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve ordinance 783, amending city code on recreational vehicles?
So moved.
I have a motion by Keith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any other comments? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7B, approve ordinance 784, amending city code on fences.
The Planning Commission also at its October 9th meeting held a public hearing on various proposed amendments to the fence standards. And the commission took action on the ordinance on November 13th, and there's 3 main provisions that changed in that. The first one is that it removes the 3-foot setback from the property line. Fences will be allowed adjacent to a rear or a side property line, but no fences in the front yard forward of the front plane of the house in residential districts. And then the third one, change permit procedures within easements, and that's just to reflect position titles. Public Works Director became Public Works Supervisor, Public Utility Superintendent became Public Utility Commission, I believe it was. So I did include in there the strikeouts. There were some things that were struck out that were redundant in there, talking about the location of the fence. And it talked about how fences are constructed in the front yard. We took that out because they are proposing not to allow fences in the front yard. And so those are the 3 main things. I did include the whole ordinance with the strike-throughs and the underlines for you, and then I also included the ordinance, what it would look like afterward, and that is ordinance 784, amending the fence location and installation standards.
Questions?
I apologize, I wasn't at the Planning Commission meeting, but we had originally had the item A, number 2, no fence or wall shall be constructed without a permit from the zoning officer struck.
We did originally have that struck because they talked about not having to have a special permit for it. You know, we have these are the guidelines, but you didn't need to get a permit. And at the last Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission felt that it was important that we leave that in.
Okay.
And that they would have to come and get, their concern was if they didn't need a permit, they wouldn't come in and get the regulations. And so that was why they left that in. It's a
Understood.
$25 permit.
Okay.
Any other comments?
I guess I'd just like a little more definition on the 3-foot setback, so we're no longer requiring a 3-foot setback.
Correct. We've had that in there probably 4 or 5 years now that we've had the 3-foot setback. People that have the smaller lots, they didn't really like that because you take that much off of their property, and then they have on the other side of the fence that they need to maintain, and then the other neighbor gets onto their side, and there becomes a lot of squabbling, so they just recommend to just let it go back adjacent to the property line like it used to be.
Okay, okay.
I mean, the
So-
property owner is responsible for showing where their property line is.
Sure. So past history has shown that 3-foot setback probably is not necessary or is more of a problem to enforce than,
Yeah, it's, the 3-foot setback issue is, you know, for us to go and require a 3-foot or adjacent is no different really to us. It more comes to the property owners, you know, they're like, I don't want to give up 3 feet of my property, and then I have to go around and mow the grass on that 3 feet, and so it's like, well, then they just went back to being adjacent.
okay, then my question would be if you currently have a fence with a 3-foot setback, are you allowed to move that fence line?
I guess we hadn't discussed about that, but you would be allowed to do that.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Basically with this one here, it turns into if a neighbors have a dispute, it's gonna be between them civilly and leaving government out of it.
Yeah, that's
And that's
what I'm-
basically what we're
Because
looking at
supposedly
doing.
it's a trespass if you have to maintain that fence
Pretty much.
and have to go on the other side.
Right.
And are we gonna be, is that going to be bigger hassle than being able to maintain that fence if there's a 3-foot setback?
And originally, that 3-foot setback was to solve that problem
Right,
or that issue.
yeah.
But then we get involved because, couldn't, you know, legally. So this way, it's between neighbors.
Okay.
And
All right.
it's an issue that we talk about, but yet in 25 years, I've only had that happen one time.
I was gonna say, is it, you know, is
Yeah.
it problematic or, okay.
Yeah. We tried to fix something that wasn't broke by doing it, so now we're going back.
Okay, that's no problem.
Makes
I can-
sense.
I can live with that.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Do I have a motion to approve ordinance 784, amending the city code for fences?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Diane,
I'll second.
second by Dave. Any other comments? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7C, approved pay request number 3 for Getty Street.
Pay request 3 has been submitted by Stantec on behalf of Molitor Excavating for the Getty Street project. We have had a contract amount of $315,016 with completed to date of just over $260,000. After you subtract a retainage of 13, we have a total owed to Molitor of $247,127.96, of which we have already paid $156,464.59. So that leaves a balance due with this request of $90,663.37. So we're requesting to approve pay request number 3 to Molitor Excavating for that amount.
Comments? Concerns? Do I have a motion to approve pay request number 3 to Molitor Excavating for $90,663.37?
So moved.
A motion by Heidi, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7D, approve EMT appointment.
Kathy Strufert, Ambulance Director, has submitted a request for the appointment of an EMT. She's recommending that Timothy Duval be appointed as EMT contingent upon his completion of training and passing his classes, certification skills, and written tests. I did include a copy of her request. He's currently taking the EMT class at Bridgewater College in Wilmer, and he has been doing the ride-alongs with the ambulance service, actually more than is required by his class. And he's interested in becoming an EMT with Sauk Centers. So she is recommending that he become a probationary EMT, and then, of course, it would go, once he graduates and has his skills, and once he's a probationary EMT, then they have to do that for 6 months before they can be a regular EMT. So the request is to approve the appointment of Timothy Duval as a probationary EMT effective upon his completion of training and licensing.
Questions? Comments? Obviously, he did it on his own rather than, so that's, gives him a certain amount of credibility, I think, so.
Absolutely.
So, do I have a motion to approve appointment of Timothy Duval as a probationary EMT effective upon his completion of training and licensing?
So moved.
We have a motion by Keith, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Diane. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7E, approved step increase, EMT.
Kathy has also requested that Jamie Cole be approved for a step increase. She's been an EMT with the department for 15 years on December 17th, 2018. We're requesting that she be advanced to level 4 on that date. And as you know, we have the 5, 10, 15-year step for the EMTs. And so what we're requesting here is to approve the advancement of Jamie Cole to level 4 on December 17th, 2018.
Questions, comments?
I see by your letter, her performance has been acceptable and, okay.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the advancement of Jamie Cole to level 4 on December 17th, 2018?
So moved.
Motion by Keith, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approved 2019 wage rates, ambulance department.
Again, Kathy has budgeted for an increase for 2019 in the budget that you preliminary approved. The request was for a 2% increase for on-call backup rate, and the wages, except for the on-call and backup rate, and the wages paid to the training coordinator be increased to be equal of the EMTB level 4. I did list for you all the current wages that we pay right now, and you'll notice that the training coordinator actually makes less than the level 4 EMT, so we were looking to make that the same. And then they would all be increased by 2%, and this would be effective January 1st. The estimated impact to the budget is $4,300 for 2019, and that is all paid through ambulance revenues. So the request is to approve a 2% wage increase as presented for the ambulance department and increase the training coordinator wages to be equal to an EMT level 4 wage beginning January 1st, 2019.
Questions, comments? So the numbers listed here for wages are 2018.
These are 2018, yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the 2% wage increase as presented for ambulance department and increase in training coordinator wages to be equal to EMT-B level 4 wages beginning January 1st, 2019?
So moved.
A motion by Heidi, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any other comments, questions? Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7G, approved 2019 wage rates, fire department.
Steve Moritz, Fire Chief, has requested that the fire department rate be increased from $11 to $12 per hour. This rate is applied to hours actually on a run or during trainings and meetings. So the impact to the department for this $1 an hour raise is $4,000 for 2019. And of course, that's based on numbers of calls, so we're doing an average here. So what we're requesting here is to approve the rate increase to $12 per hour for the fire department.
Questions?
Did we have this, excuse me, did we have this included in the budget?
Yes.
Okay.
When was the last time we did a wage increase for the fire department?
In 2016, they had a raise for like the chief and the assistant chief and that. And then we had, just before that, we had this increase for the department, so.
Okay, so it's been a few
It's a
years.
few years.
Okay. Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve the rate increase to $12 per hour for the fire department?
So moved.
I'll
Motion by
second.
Keith, second by Diane. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7H, approve assessment deferrals for 2018 CIP project.
As part of the assessment process, property owners were given the option to apply for an assessment deferral based upon age or disability or income. The deferment allows the owner to defer payments of the assessment until they no longer occupy the property, at which time the assessment becomes due. For the 2018 project, and this would be the one up on by the hospital, we have received actually 9 applications for deferral. It was 8 at the time I did the packet. I have gone through all of the applications. They have provided the necessary documentation for either their income or their age or their disability, and I found that all 9 of them do qualify for the deferral. So what I'm looking tonight is to approve the applications for deferral of assessment for these properties: Ebensteiner, Bowman, Edgar, Melchert, Waldorf, Jameson, Stansberry, Botts, and one additional is Sharon Burr.
Questions? Comments? Do I have a motion to approve the applications for deferral of assessments for indicated properties?
So moved.
Motion by Keith.
Second.
Second by Dave. Comments? Questions? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7I, approved closure of City Hall December 24th, 2018.
Christmas Day, which is a holiday, a legal holiday, it falls on a Tuesday this year. In the past, the city council approved City Hall to close at noon on Christmas Eve, with employees taking half a vacation day, and that's usually if it falls midweek, and last year it fell on a Monday, so we didn't do it, of course. So now this year, it's been requested that the council approve actually the full day to be closed on Monday if the employees wish to utilize a full vacation day. And if they don't want to use a vacation day, the City Hall would remain open, but I've talked to all the employees and they all wish to be closed and to be able to take that day. And so what we are requesting is that we approve closure of City Hall on December 24th, 2018. I will tell you, in all the prior Christmas Eves, nobody comes in. I mean, they have other things to do that day. It's a very quiet day around here, so sometimes we get quite a bit done, but, so we're looking to approve closure on December 24th.
Comments? Questions?
I think it's a good thing to slow
Yeah,
down.
I just want to
and take
clarify,
a
so
day
if
off.
somebody doesn't want to take a full day, then City Hall is open, is that what
Yeah,
this means?
if they want to work and don't want to use up a vacation day, then we
Okay.
can stay open.
And it'll
All
be
right,
open.
that's, so if one person wants to work, it will be open.
Yes.
All right.
But I will tell you, I've talked to all of them, and nobody wants to work.
That's not going to happen.
I think that's cool.
Do we have a motion to approve the closure of City Hall on December 24th, 2018?
Motion to- Ooh.
Jeez, everybody jumped at once on that one.
Can I get
Keith
2
was
days?
excited about that.
A motion by Keith, second by Heidi. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7J, approve resolution 2018-96, authorizing sale of equipment.
The police department, they sought quotes for the sale of the excess property through a licensed FFL dealer. These are 3 different handguns that had been forfeited to the city, and the council had approved, declared them excess at prior meetings, and now this is the time to actually sell them. The police chief did go, got quotes for those, and we have the bidder, Like New Gun and Pawn, for all 3 of them, as you see listed here. So I'd like to approve Resolution 2018-96, accepting the bid and authorizing the sale of this excess equipment.
Comments? Questions? Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2018-96, accepting bid and authorizing sale of excess equipment?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Diane, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Last minute questions? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Unfinished business, airport committee to update airport zoning ordinance.
The airport board is going to start working on the airport zoning ordinance, and first we need to form a committee that would be the township and county officials, a city council representative, airport representative, and staff. And so I'm looking for a volunteer. Keith has been our airport person and in the past, and because he's leaving the council, he didn't get it by just stuck on there with no choice, put it that way. So I'm looking for somebody that would be interested in participating in that process from the council. And you don't have to tell me right now, you can let me know later, unless somebody wants to raise their hand right now.
Honestly, I will. Being 2 years into the planning and zoning, I think that I'd like to learn a little bit more about.
Okay.
Okay. General consent, we let her do that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Just this once.
We'll then move on to new business, job description review, library custodian.
Our library custodians requested that we review the job description because it hasn't been done. That one was not reviewed when we did our citywide, which was actually in 2007, so it's been a while since we've done that. And she's requested that we review that for placement and grading on the wage scale. And we do have a non-union scale based on points, but her job description has never been graded for that, so she's requesting that. So this is just kind of a info item for you, something I'll have the personnel committee look at as we go. If that's what if you agree to send it there.
That's appropriate.
General consensus?
Yeah.
Go to
Yeah.
personnel
Yeah.
committee?
Is it only the library that?
That's all she cleans is the library, yeah.
Okay.
She used to go to the interpretive center, too.
Right, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. We'll now go to our consent agenda. We have a schedule of claims, unpaid claims of $119,112.84. Paid claims of $24,875.38 for a total of $143,988.22. We have October checks totaling $341,461.86. We also have resolution number 2018-97, a resolution accepting contributions of $165.54 from anonymous donors to be allocated to the dog park. On behalf of the city and the council, I want to thank those donors for their contribution. Is there any questions or comments on the consent calendar?
Are we, do we have a date for the opening of the dog park, or?
got to be finished first.
Yeah.
We have all the posts are in
Okay.
right now, and I believe
Some of the
yesterday or the
fences
day
out.
before, Ben went and picked up the gates and some of the stuff that was back ordered,
Are we
so,
gonna be able to put them in
yeah.
the winter?
We'll get it in.
Okay,
And
okay.
because we will be flooding well, I don't know, with the way the weather is, we might be flooding the outdoor rink sooner than we normally do.
Sure.
But usually we get that done about the third week of December is kind of what our track record is before the ground is froze, but it could be earlier. So we'd like to have the dog park stuff put together before we kick them out of the outdoor rink.
Sure. Seems to be a lot
No
of
guarantees.
interest in dog park, which is.
Pardon me?
Seems to be a lot of interest in the dog park, which is good.
We'll get it open soon, we hope.
Any other questions on the consent calendar? If not, do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. We have no informational items. That then brings us to the end of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Dave, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Heidi.
We're all in a second.
Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Meeting adjourned.